Okay, let me ask you something. What do you think is the single greatest invention in all of human history? No, seriously, take a second. What's the first thing that pops into your head?
Maybe you thought of the wheel, right? The thing that literally got civilization rolling. Or maybe something modern, like the internet, which connects all of us in a blink. Well, the answer might be something way, way simpler. Something so common you probably don't even notice it's there anymore.
Yup, we are talking about paper. I know. But think about it. This stuff is so everywhere that it almost feels like it's a natural part of our world, like stone or wood. But it's not. It's a piece of tech, a brilliant invention with a history that completely changed the world. And that's the real magic, isn't it? Paper is so successful, so ubiquitous, that it's become invisible. It's hiding right there in plain sight. But believe me, its invention changed everything. Okay, to really get this, let's do a little thought experiment. Imagine a world without any paper. Go on, try. How do you write things down? How do you share ideas? For thousands of years, our ancestors had to figure this out. And let's just say their options were not great. I mean, look at what they were stuck with. You had these super heavy, bulky clay tablets that could shatter, or you had parchment, which sounds fancy, but it was just animal skin that was expensive and a real pain to prepare. People tried everything. Bones, bamboo strips, you name it. But every single option was either too heavy, too fragile, or way too expensive for the average person. Knowledge was literally weighed down by the materials it was written on. So where did the big breakthrough come from? Well, the solution to this ancient headache finally showed up in Han Dynasty China, way back around 105 AD. And what's amazing is that we can pretty much trace this world-changing invention to one guy, a court official named Cai Lun. And the story of how he figured it out is just fantastic. Legend has it that Cai Lun had his big aha moment while watching a wasp. He saw it chewing up tiny bits of wood and plants, mixing it all up, and then using that pulp to build its nest. And a light bulb went off. He thought, hey, I could do that. And his recipe was absolutely brilliant because it was so simple and used stuff that was basically just lying around. He grabbed fibers from mulberry bark, some old cloth rags, even worn-out fishing nets, mashed it all up with water to make a pulp, spread that mush out on a cloth screen to drain, and just let it dry in the sun. And boom, the world's first real paper. It was lightweight, it was cheap, and it was the perfect surface for writing. But here's the thing. This incredible invention didn't just spread like wildfire. Oh no. In fact, China held on to the secret of papermaking for more than 600 years. It was a closely guarded state secret. It actually took a war for the secret to finally get out. So let's follow the journey. It all starts in 105 AD with Cai Lun. Then, fast forward to 751 AD. At the Battle of Talas, some Chinese papermakers are captured, and just like that, the secret is out. It spreads to the Islamic world where scholars didn't just copy the recipe, they made it better, creating brighter, smoother paper. It took a few more centuries, but by the 12th century, it finally reached Europe. And then, the 15th century, Gutenberg invents the printing press, and suddenly the demand for paper just explodes. This is what helps kickstart the Renaissance, because for the first time, knowledge wasn't just for the super rich anymore. But even with the secret out, there was still a huge problem, a major bottleneck. For hundreds of years, the main ingredient for paper was old cloth rags. So paper production was completely limited by how many old shirts and sheets people could scrounge up. That scarcity kept paper pretty expensive, still not something everyone could afford. The next massive leap forward didn't happen until the 1840s. And what's wild is that two different guys on two different continents, Keller and Fenerty, figured out the same thing at roughly the same time: how to make paper from wood pulp. This was the real game changer. All of a sudden, you didn't need to hunt for old rags anymore. Your raw material was, well, everywhere. It was trees. And that one discovery just unleashed the paper boom. Factories could now churn out massive amounts of paper, making it super cheap and accessible to everyone. You combine that with new inventions like the fountain pen and the pencil, and the whole industry just went into overdrive. Suddenly you've got books, newspapers, paper money. It was all becoming a normal part of life. Okay, so that brings us to today, and it brings us to what I call the paper paradox. This incredible 2,000-year-old technology made knowledge democratic, right? But now our massive reliance on it comes with a pretty serious environmental price tag. So why is recycling so important? Well, the numbers speak for themselves. Let's break it down. First off, water. And the numbers here are just staggering.
For every single ton of paper that we recycle, we save 7,000 gallons of water. That's a massive amount of water that doesn't have to be used.
And it's not just water. That same ton of recycled paper, it also means about 20 big, mature trees get to stay right where they are, in the forest.
And there's more. The air we breathe. Making paper from recycled stuff produces 73% less air pollution than making it from new wood. I mean, it's a win-win-win.
And then there's the energy. Just look at this chart. The difference is huge. Recycling 1 ton of paper saves enough energy to power a typical house for 6 whole months. 6 months. Okay, if you need one more fact to really put our paper habit into perspective, here it is. And this one is kind of mind-blowing. Nearly half of all the wood harvested in the entire world is used to make paper. Think about that journey, from one guy watching a wasp build a nest to an industry that consumes half the world's timber. So that leaves us with a pretty big question, right? In our digital world, with screens everywhere and basically infinite storage in the cloud, what's next for this invisible invention? What ideas, what words, what memories are so important that they are truly worth the paper they're written on? It's definitely something to think about the next time you just, grab a piece of paper.